Hi, I'm Ryan McSherry, Business Development for Yokogawa. I'm here today to show you how to replace or clean your windows on your alignment flange or calibration cell assembly for the TDLS8000. The number of alignment flange windows you will have will vary by model. Short path installation units denoted by optics accessory suffix variants U2, U3, U4, D5, D8, J5, J8, and FC will have an alignment flange window on each side of the unit. But long path installation units, denoted by optics accessory suffix variant LA, will only have a window on the LU side or laser unit side of the analyzer. A separate window will cover how to clean the large aperture optics window on the SCU or sensor control unit side of long path units. Before starting, tools that will be required are an M5 Allen wrench, an M3 Allen wrench, compressed air, which is optional but very beneficial if you have it on hand, chem wipes or lint-free cloth, lens cleaner or isopropyl alcohol. Remember, just not an aggressive solvent. Something is light duty cleaning. Something too aggressive will take the optical coating off the window. Your spare outer O-ring, K9772TH. Your spare inner O-ring, K9772TJ. Spare set of screws just in case you drop one. These are the only one that's not the ones that are not captive. Those are K9771JS. And then finally, your process window assembly. In this case, we're doing K9772RE. It's a CO window. It's got the number 23 denoted on it. So that's appropriate for this application. A table is shown below of a complete list of windows you'll need by application. These include your process window assemblies, your O-rings, and your screws. Ensure you turn off power to the analyzer if required. Turn off optics purges. Keep window purges on if not asphyxiant to keep the area cool, clean, and dry if you don't have an isolation valve. If window purges are off, then time without purges should be minimized for a couple of minutes where an isolation valve is not present. Otherwise, remove the entire alignment flange assembly from process and install a blind face flange temporarily. It may be best to remove the analyzer head first to minimize time without purge in this case. Close the process isolation valve if applicable. Using the M5 Allen wrench, loosen the captive screw from the analyzer interface flange. It's a captive screw, remember, so it's completely loosened when it hangs freely. You don't want to unscrew it, otherwise you could lose it. From here, loosen the remaining 3 screws a few turns just to loosen up the analyzer from the interface flange. Once the remaining screws are sufficiently loosened, again, you don't want to back them out all the way or they could drop out and you'll lose them. Twist the analyzer counterclockwise until the screws meet the holes in the process interface flange and remove the analyzer, exposing alignment flange window. Examine the external O-ring K9772TJ. Look for any wear or damage. If it still looks to be in good shape, you can leave it alone. Note that process isolation still is intact because we have the window installed. If this window were to be broken or once it's removed, you will expose yourself to process. So again, ensure that necessary safety precautions are taken. We'll start by removing the window using an M3 Allen wrench. So these are captive screws, so you just need to start the process loosening them. Okay, and then usually you can get them out with your fingers. So you can see that captive screw is loose. That one's loose. And I'm holding it up with my finger because it will drop once you loosen the last screw. Okay, now we have the window off. Now with the window off, we can see the inner O-ring, K9772TH, exposed. Again, you'll want to examine that, look for any signs of damage or wear, replace that if necessary. Okay, so now that we have our window assembly pulled off process, we're going to begin cleaning it. So note that the side with the screws facing outward, that's going to be the analyzer side of the process window. This side is your side that's actually usually making contact with your process interface. So this is usually the side that's most contaminated, or the back side. Again, you can see here by this 23 label that this is for a CO or CO methane application. Okay, so we're going to get started cleaning. We're going to take I'll lay that down flat here. We're going to take our air duster, spray off any particulate. You want to try to remove as much dry particulate to begin with as you can on this window, and that's just so you aren't rubbing any contaminants, any particles into the optical coating on the surface. Once that's clean and free of particulate, we can go ahead and get started with trying to remove any oils or process buildup that may be contaminating these windows. So we're just going to take our lens cleaner here. I'm going to save this for last because it kind of does make contact with the table. Okay, so we're going to just spray it like that. Take our Chem wipe, fold it in half, maybe fold it a couple times, and we're going to make streaks when we do this. We're not going to rub in a circular motion because that can rub any contaminants into the window surface and create swirling on the optics, and swirling is not good for what it does to the signal. So we want to make clean, just strokes down, very light. Okay. Fold it over, do one more pass with the dry. Okay, we're going to go ahead and flip it over. And go ahead and get another Chem wipe. These are over $1,000 a piece to replace, so don't try to skimp on using one Chem wipe for cleaning this. Use as many as you feel necessary. You don't always have Chem wipes on hand, so some people will use just generic lens cleaning wipes. Those will do a fine job too. Again, just don't use something too aggressive. Okay. And now our window is nice and clean. Might give it a little extra time to dry. You can see that there's still some, a little bit of lens cleaner on the outside flange, but the optic looks clean. I don't know how well you can see that, but now that it's clean, you're ready to go reinstall this on process. So now the window's clean and dried off, we're going to reinstall it. So you want to take note of orientation. You cannot put this window on the wrong way, but you may have a hard time getting it started if you line it up incorrectly. So something to keep in mind is that the window label indicating the application, that's always going to be up the top right. If you can't locate that, or if it's fallen off over time, just note that this top screw here is slightly offset to the left. So all these other 3 screws, would be, on the same plane, with the perpendicular cross, say, going through them. But this one's slightly off, and that's your top screw. So the offset screw's up top. So we're just going to line it back up and finger tighten the window. Captive screws. Okay. And after the window screws are sufficiently finger tight, you're going to take an M3 Allen wrench and just tighten them down to where they're snug. There's no torque spec on this. Just don't put 2 hands on the wrench. Don't try to over tighten it. It'll stay in place reasonably well. So again, just don't go crazy trying to tighten it up. Just snug is good. All right, and that's it. Okay, so now that we've got the window installed, it's time to reconnect the analyzer. So what you're going to do is look at this process interface flange, and you see how it has these holes in here? You're going to line those up over the 3 screws that remain on the process flange assembly. Okay, so we're going to line those up, and once they're lined up, you twist it clockwise and it'll lock in. Once you've done that, go ahead and finger tighten this captive screw up on the top right. And that's still going to be in the analyzer, so don't be wondering where the screw went when you come back to the flange, because there's only going to be 3 screws in it. Once they're sufficiently finger tight, go ahead and take an M5 Allen wrench and tighten it up here. And again, just like we did with the window, snug up that top right one first, and then just make sure the screws are snug. The order in which you tighten these doesn't really matter. You're not torquing these down or anything. And so once you've got them a little tight, just maybe go one over, just tighten them up a little bit extra. Again, there's no torque spec, so just don't go crazy trying to over tighten it with 2 hands. All right, and that's it. We got the analyzer back online. Open the isolation valve if applicable, and then turn on the window and optics purges and restore power to the unit, and you're good to go. I hope you found this video informative. For more information, visit us on our website at yokogawa.com/us, email us at support.us.yokogawa.com, or contact your local sales representative. Thanks for watching.